how I can perceive the presence of the Lord in and through the whole universe. So while seeing it, I had to recognize that which is because of which it came, by which it is sustained, into which it goes back. So a simple example is looking at the ring. From gold it came, by gold it is sustained, into gold it goes back. So ring is only name and a form for the gold only. If you ask the gold, when did you become a ring? So gold will say, I never became a ring. I am just gold. I am AU. AU means that's a chemical name for the gold. So I was AU, I am AU, and I am eternally AU only. You call unnecessarily this form of myself as a ring, other form of that is a bangle. So you are differentiating one form or other because of your convenience. Because you want to wear a ring and not a bangle. Bangle and a ring and a necklace and a bracelet, they have utilities, they have their own properties and all that, and each property of the ring is different from property of the bangle, is different from property of the bracelet, yet they are all really nothing to do with the gold properties. Gold has nothing to do with any of this. So all beings are in me, but none of them will affect me. The properties of the ring and the properties of the bangle and the properties of the necklace will not affect the gold. Gold is still that spectrochemically or chemical analysis you do, gold is gold, only its properties. It is never affected by the IDs, ODs and all that. Means internal diameter of the ring, bangle, necklace, ellipticity, this is a beautiful ring, this is a big ring, this small ring. All those properties of the ring and the bangle and the necklace do not have anything to do with the gold at all. Yet gold can exist in ring form, bangle form, bracelet form, all forms also. Why? If you ask gold, hey, this is my glory. I can have existence in all forms. So I can exist in varieties of names and forms because this lady wants to wear a ring, not a bangle, because there is a demand for it. So because of the demand of particular the desire of the individual, goldsmith makes the rings and the bangles and the necklaces and so on. So what is the demand for the creation to occur? The demand for the creation to occur is the vasanas of the people that was there. I like this kind of world. I want to be born and enjoy. So these were the potential vasanas of the beings that are there, or the demand of that is what Lord wants to create. Lord doesn't create anyway according to his whims and fancies. He doesn't say put this fellow in the Sahara desert and put the other fellow in the according to their karmas. He has to create. His hands are tight because he doesn't have any pleasure of creating something for unnecessarily also. It is because there is a demand for it. Just as goldsmith doesn't create just unnecessarily, because there is a demand that he can sell it. And therefore there is a demand for particular creations, not the type of creation that whatever he wants. He doesn't create it because he cannot sell it otherwise. So there is because of he looking at the market value and then creates. The same way, Lord, who is equanimous, he has no desires of any kind, is equal for everybody, but still creates different because of the nature of the karma that was there in the. So when did they do karma? They have not been there at all. It is from their previous lives. Otherwise, we cannot explain it. So this cycle continues. Previous life, when did they come? How did the previous life started? Previous life started because of the previous to previous life. So that when did this all started? There is no starting. It is continuous cycle, eternal cycle, beginningless cycle, and therefore this is the eternal flow of this one itself. So how do I get out of it? By recognizing, using viveka, what is real and what is not real. I should be able to recognize the presence of the Lord in and through. So even though we say, I am looking at the world now, I am in the creation, then I want to see what is that beyond the creation. I cannot see pure existence because pure existence already has become many. So even if it is not become, I cannot see it also because there is no way, it's not imperceptible. It is imperceptible. Therefore, I have to use an intellect which is product of creation only. Using the intellect, I had to look at the world And looking at the world, I had to recognize the presence of that because of which the world is. That's why it is difficult. Difficult part is that if there are two things mixed together, I have to separate them to see what is one and what is the other. If there are two things are of equal reality, equal degree of reality, then I can easily separate. Like mixture, when we do, Indian mixture, soda, right? They're all, you have kara, you have peanuts, and you have these cashew nuts, all those, I can easily separate them because they are of the same order of reality. But here the problem is, I cannot separate pure existence from object, because pure existence is infinite. How can I separate the infinite? Only finite things can be separated. And it is subtler. Subtler means it is so thing that I cannot, it's not imperceptible, it is imperceptible, I cannot separate as one entities or finite. Therefore, I have to use viveka. I had to use a discriminative intellect. And how do I use discriminative intellect? I need have the backup of a means of knowledge for me to know what is real and what is not real. Therefore, scripture becomes the essential as for any knowledge. So this is all that is being explained in the Panchabhuta Viveka of this. The whole chapter is on this. So how do I look for the Lord looking at the what I am seeing? So in this, from the Brahman, the Maya, from the Maya came the Akasha. So Akasha, when it comes, it is inheriting one of the essential property of the original one. What is the original one? The original one is existence. So that has to come down, and even in the Akasha, that existence is there. So without Akasha's existence, Akasha cannot be existing, right? So existence is lends support for everything within the creation, because it itself became many. Just as gold is providing the substantive or support for all the rings and the bangles, without the gold there cannot be any ring and a bangle and a necklace. So gold is inherently providing, it also is there, as you say it is a ring. Gold is also there. So I had to use a discriminative intellect to differentiate what is really ring and what is gold. In this combination of gold and plus ring, I need to discriminate using a viveka to differentiate what is the ring part and what is the gold part. If you really ask it, the ring part is not really anything other than just a form. There is no substantive of the ring, even though we use a noun ring, but there is no substantive for it. What is substantive is only what counts. Substance is only gold only. The value of the ring depends on the substance. If it's an iron ring, it's a different value compared to gold ring. So the substantive is nothing but the gold only, and therefore that this differentiation is required. And if it's a gold ring, we can easily see compared to iron ring and some other ring. But when it comes to pure existence plus something, it is extremely difficult, because we need a very subtle mind to differentiate and to see in and through every name and form that I see, what is that Lord that is pervading there. Okay? That's why Krishna says, I am there in every heart. Every heart. Heart is the essence of what it is. The core of what it is the Lord itself. So it is this bhinne vyasati sabdaha, even though space and, this is a sloka 67, so even though space and existence seem to be different, the words are different, Veda buddhescha vedataha. So these words, even though the mind can recognize, you have to see in and through using the intellect what is the real part and what is apparently real part. Same thing occurs when you go from there, from the space, Akashat Vayuhu. So first the space was created, from space now Vayu. Vayu means the air is created. That is our, according to our, this one. First is the space, then gaseous state, then the, you talk about Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi and so on. So when it comes to level of Vayu, Vayu inherits that existence that is pervading first. So existence, when it comes akasha has existence, but it picks up its own property which is not there in the sat, and the property of the space is shabdam, right? It transmits the sound. So shabda is picked up which is not there in the sat. So akasha has one inherent property coming from the existence as existence itself, and the other one it is the shabda. Now from the akasha, vayu has come, and vayu has now pick up that which is common coming from all the way sat, which is existence, because when you say air exists, means air exists. And it picks up one property of the akasha which is shabdam, so it also has a property of the shabdam. So you can see when wind blows heavily, there will be heavy shabdam. So now we have shabdam there, and that shabdam is coming from the akasha, and from that, in addition to the shabdam, it picks up another property. So shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. So next one is the sparsha, the contact, which is essentially it picks up the touch. So you can see it's a cool wind or a hot wind and all that, because you can feel by the touch. So additional special property of the vayu is the property of the touch itself. So it has from this existence, akasha, the space is created, it inherits the existent part, and existence part cannot be differentiated or perceptible, but when you say space is, that means existence is pervading in this akasha. Now from there is the vayu. Vayu means air. It inherits the existence, which is air is, but also it inherits the property of this space, which is shabdam, and it acquires its own property, which is essentially the touch itself. So same property, as one goes to the next level, akasha, vayu, agnihi, apaha. So when you go one at a time, it picks up additional properties as you go along, and that's what is. Now let's do the 68. Sadvastu adhika vrittitvat, sadvastu adhika vrittitvat, dharmivyomnastu dharmata, dharmivyomnastu dharmata, dhiya sata pratakare, dhiya sata pratakare, bruhi vyoma kimatmakam, kimatmakam. Together, sadvastu adhika vrittitva, dharmivyomnastu dharmata, dhiya sata pratakare, bruhi vyoma kimatmakam. So sadvastu adhika vrittitva. So when there are two things together, and we are unable to separate these two things, because one is the existence itself that is there from the beginning, and other one is the object that I am seeing, and these two are always mixing together. So this is always a problem when I in perception of the Lord everywhere. I cannot see the Lord everywhere. I can only see the object that I can see through my eyes or hear through my ears. So these five senses can only perceive only the properties of the object that are there, but I cannot perceive that pervades the all objects, which is common to all objects, but yet it is imperceptible. So I had to use a very subtle discrimination. Why? Sadvastu adhika vrittitvat. It is very extremely subtle for me to recognize through the senses. I cannot recognize the presence of the Lord. I cannot see, I cannot hear. So if I see anything, I am seeing the Lord, and that's not the Lord, because Lord cannot be seen. Because he is all pervasive, infinite. How can you see infinite? Only finite things you can see. So sadvastu, that which is there before creation, was the pure existence, and it pervades in every object that exists, because existence is there, chair is there, akasha, space is there, vayu is there. When you say is, that isness itself is the very substratum which is common for all objects, and that was sadvastu adhika vrittitvat. It is extremely subtle. So therefore it is of the higher order of reality. It's called ontology. Ontologically it is of the higher order of reality. And dharmi vyomastu dharmata. So here we have, this is where the Maya comes into picture. Maya means that which makes things appear even though it's not there. Because infinite cannot become anything. But I am seeing many things. I say, how do I am seeing? That's why we call it a power of Maya. You are able to see that which is not really there is what is illusion. Call it illusion, but it's Maya. And the Maya makes it very funny. What does it make? It makes this as a property. What is the essence has become a property, and what is a property has become a essence. Ulta Sida has become. Why? That is why it's called Maya. So it's just what is a property? Existence we call it. Just as when you say it is a ring, what ring is that? It's a golden ring. Now what is a gold? Gold is the very substance, very material. But gold has become an adjective and ring has become a noun. Although it should be actually, it's only gold. There is no ring there. It's only form, you call it a ring. But what is there? The form is only an attribute of that form of gold. But you are calling it that ring as the substantive. Substantive means noun. The ring has become a noun and gold has become an adjective. Because we call it a golden ring. So that is the Ulta Sida. What is the real substance has become an adjective, and what is an adjective has become a real, and this is the power of Maya. Now how do we apply this? Same thing. When I say he is like this, she is like this, the world is like that, all that, we are looking at the attributes of the superimposed thing on the pure existence that is the Lord. And we get carried away with that because the properties of that form, which is a finite form, have become the real substance, and what is real has been forgotten or not able to recognize. And that's what is called dharma and dharmi. Dharma is the property, dharmi is the locus where which the property is. So the gold has become, gold is the really, dharma means it is the real substance, and ring is only a form, and ring has become, ring is a form, is a property which eyes can see. Eyes can only see forms and colors. And that which eyes can see is only properties of an object, and that has become the substantive of the object, and substantive of the object has become a property, like when you say this ulta sida, this opposite is because of the Maya. And therefore dharmi vyomastu dharmita. So space is, when you say space is only a superimposed on Brahman. It's only a convenient form of the Brahman to accommodate things, and that we are calling now space has existence. This has existence, as though existence has become a property of space, property of the objects. So this dhiya, that confusion has occurred. So dhiya sataha putakkare bruhi vyoma kimatmakam. So this space, so what is exactly nature of this existence? And you have philosophical discussions about the nature of what is existence. Is it real? Is it not real? Is it something that perceptible? And how can I recognize it? All that philosophical discussions are evolved because of not able to differentiate what is real and what is not real in every perception that I see. And this, if you say what is the nature of space, then if existence was there before creation, that existence alone became many, and existence became many in different varieties of names and forms, starting with Akasha, space, and Vayu, Agni, all that, and from which everything, whole universe of made up of all the things are coming from all these Panchabhutas. That pure existence is becoming many varieties of many varieties, and I cannot see and experience existence. What I am experiencing is only these names and objects. So what is the nature of Akasha? I want to know, because if you say existence is real, then what is the nature of Akasha? So if you ask what is the nature of ring, is ring really real or not real? So if a lady asks, hey, your ring is not real, then she will fight with me. This is my ring. I am wearing it. How can you say it's not real? Says, what is real and what is not real, we should know now. That which is, how do you define what is real? I see, therefore it's real. And says, scripture says, you see, therefore it's not really real. Why? Because you see. Because the reality you cannot see. Why? What reality is pure existence itself, which you cannot see. In the same way, here in the case of example of golden ring, what is real and what is permanent is that real is that which is remains the same in all three periods of time alone is real. That's the definition. So that which is not changing at any time alone is real. So what is that not changing alone is real? So gold is a ring. So within the ring and the gold, what is real there? So ring can become a bangle, but gold still is. So gold still pervades in the form of a ring now, in form of a bangle now, in the form of a necklace there. So gold doesn't undergo any modifications, even though ring has become a bangle and a bangle has become a necklace and so on. Therefore, what is real is that which remains the same in all periods of time. Vikara abhaditam satyam, and therefore that alone is real. So what is real in the ring and the gold? Although it's only one, together is becoming one. So I cannot separate the ring on one side and the gold other side. So it is a ring and the gold together, both are nouns, because the gold is also a noun and the ring is also a noun. But there are no two things there. It is combination of the ring and the gold together as one. Yet I had to use a discrimination looking at the ring and say it is gold. Right? Because it's made of gold. What is there is gold. So looking at the whole world, I had to say it is nothing but the Lord in this form. That is difficult. So how can this be? I can accept everybody is God but not my neighbor. So God is everywhere. Every religion says God is all pervading, but I cannot recognize the presence of the Lord, because what is the Lord? Lord is himself expressing as the very life itself. We don't know what life is, but if I can see even the life, very life, that is one expression of the Lord. Those that have the subtle body, it expresses as the life form. Those that doesn't have subtle body, like the dead matter, subtle body has gone, therefore that expresses as pure existence itself. And for that I need a discriminative intellect to differentiate what is real and what is not real. So is the really ring is really real or not? It appears to be there. For transactionally it is real. I can wear and decorate myself with the ring, and where I use a ring is different from where I use a bangle, even though both are gold. So for transactional, can you bring the gold from the other room? If you bring me a ring, oh, not that ring, not that gold, bring other gold. Say, sir, what do you want? There are only rings and bangles. You want a ring or you want a bangle? So I had to, for transaction purposes, I had to differentiate a ring and a bangle and a necklace and a bracelet and so on. But transactional reality is not necessarily the absolute reality. For transactional purposes, neighbor is still neighbor, rotten maybe, he is still a rotten neighbor, it's still neighbor. But for absolute point, he is nothing but the Lord himself pervading in that also. If Lord can stay in him, then you should not have any problem. If Lord is able to tolerate him, then you should not have any problem of tolerating him, because he only comes outside once in a way. Whereas Lord has to stay with him all the time. So you should be sympathetic to the Lord for existing in his form also. So if I have that understanding, automatically compassion follows through. So the love for the Lord comes only when I recognize the presence of the Lord everywhere too. Then I love everything also in that sense also. So coming back to the space on the ring example, what exactly you call it existence is real or not? So here the question that was posed is, what is the nature of the space? Or you can ask the same question, what is the nature of the ring? 72. Buddhopi bedo no chitte, Buddhopi bedo no chitte, nirudham yati chittadha. Did I miss something? Oh, I missed something. Wait a minute. Oh, I missed a lot of things. Oh, 68, right? There's no finish. 69. Avakashatmakam tatchet. Avakashatmakam tatchet. Asattaditi chincyatam. Sattaditi chincyatam. Bhinnam sato satchaneti. Bhinnam sato satchaneti. Vachichet vyahatistava. Vachichet vyahatistava. Together. Avakashatmakam tatchet. Asattaditi chincyatam. Bhinnam sato satchaneti. Vachichet vyahatistava. So here the Purvapaksha is questioning here. Purvapaksha is an objector. So this is we are looking at a very deep subject here. So our analysis, all our textbooks is always in terms of objections and siddhantas. So somebody says, hey, what you are saying I don't understand. You seem to be saying something wrong here. So we take a Purvapaksha, they call Purvapaksha, an objector. So objector's statement is being presented. Then the siddhanta says how your objection is not really correct. So that's how the understanding goes. So here the Purvapakshi, Pakshi means not a bird here. Purvapakshi means is an objector. Is Purvapaksham means an objection. This objector is saying, what do you call it space? Because there is a problem of reality versus unreality, and there are a lot of philosophers say the world is real because I see it. That's why it's called eyewitness account, right? Because I see it, therefore it is real. Is that a definition of reality? It says Avakash, so is the space real? So because we have space travel, if the space is not real, how can you travel inside? So question is the reality or unreality. So here an objector comes into question, says, sir, existence alone you said is real and everything is not real then. So then what do you call this space? Is it real or unreal? So avakashatmakam tatchet, avakasham means that which accommodates. Space is, how do you define space? Space is that which accommodates. Avakasham is that which is akasha. So that which provides you an accommodation. We say we don't have enough space here in our house, means what? We don't have space because there is no place to accommodate you. That is what you call. So whatever that accommodation is what is called space. So avakashatmakam tatchet. So in case if you define that space is accommodating, asattaditi chinchatam. So it is just accommodating, nothing there. Because when we don't have anything else, you say we have enough space, you say, right? So when there is nothing, you call it space. That means space is no thing. So it's not existing. So do you call that as a real space? The space really doesn't exist at all? Because you say existence alone was there and it is expressing, there is no real space there. Just as, is ring really different from gold? Does ring exist separate from gold? If ring is really real, then I could separate ring and ring gold. Gold is also real and ring is also real. So what is the nature of the ring? Does it exist independent of the gold itself? That's the question. So here these are all tarkika, these are all logicians. He asked the question, asatta didi chinchatam. If you say that space doesn't exist at all independently, it has no existence, then it is asat. Then it means it's non-existent. Because he considers space as real, one of the entities. Bhinnam sato satchineti vachached vyahatistava. If we say it exists but it doesn't really exist, ring exists or not? There's a ring which is different from bangle. Ring exists. But really ring doesn't really exist. No, it is gold. There is no existence of ring. It's only gold is existing. Then what do you call a ring? Does it really exist or doesn't exist? So the question is, ring is existing as though for my transactions, but what is there is only gold. Ring doesn't exist. If you say it exists, it doesn't exist, you are only contradicting yourself. So this is an objection by asserting. What do you call this? Either you call it exists, either call it doesn't exist. Don't say it exists but it doesn't really exist. You are contradicting, sir. So make it clear. Your philosophy seems to be wrong. So this is yes. There is a contradiction, but that is real. The contradiction is real. Why? Because the whole world is contradiction only. Because what is there is not seen and what is not there is seen. There is a contradiction. And says how? Just as, is the elephant that you dreamed is real or not? You went to sleep in an air-conditioned room, everything is there, and then you dreamt you are in a forest and you saw a big elephant coming and chasing you. Instead of tiger, you put the elephant. So big elephant is there. Where? In my dream. Say that's not real. Why are you worried? You keep your philosophy, but let me run away from this elephant first. So I want to save myself first. Your philosophy is no good for me, because this elephant is chasing me right now. So I better run. Say you are running from non-existent elephant. But this is actually example from the Yoga Vasishta, where Vasishta is teaching the Rama, and this Vasishta tells everything is unreal, it's not mithya. Says, how can that be? So Rama wants to test. So he sends an elephant to chase Vasishta. Vasishta ran, obviously, to save himself. And then when he came back, Rama asked, why did you run? Because the elephant, you said everything is unreal. Then he says, Rama, even my running is also unreal. Because you have to understand that even the running in the dream away from that elephant in the forest and landing myself somewhere else, all that is only dream. Only when I am awakened to the higher state, I say elephant was not really real. And therefore running was also not real. It was real only in that frame of reference only. And whatever the frame of reference is only vyavaharikam, transactionally real, but not absolutely real. What's absolutely real is there is no real elephant. Only apparent elephant and apparent running and apparent fellow and all that, apparent forest also. And that becomes apparent only when we have clear understanding. So therefore, says bhati iti chet tu nama bhushanam maikasyata. This is all the wonder of the Maya. Maya makes it that which is not possible into possible. The Maya is same as Nidra Shakti, the sleep power, which makes the elephants coming into your own mind. That big elephant, where was it? In my mind only, right? So I am able to create the big elephant and the forest and all the valleys and everything else is in my own mind, but that mind is pervading the whole dream world, including the elephant also is the same mind, and the fellow is running is also same mind. So one mind is supporting the whole entire universe of the creation, and that is the power of dream, Nidra Shakti, and this is the power of Maya Shakti. It is Bhushanam Mayikas Yatatu. It is Bhushanam, it is the glory of Maya. Who's Maya? It's a glory you created in the dream world. You created, that's your own power. To create in the dream world is my own power. Other fellow has his own creation in his dream. So it's my own power, but I get lost. In my dream, I forget that it's own my mind. I am sitting comfortable in the air-conditioned room. I forgot all that, and I feel I am in the forest, in the hot sun, and running away from that elephant. All that is my own imaginations. But while in the dream, I don't think it is an imagination. In the same way, while I am living in the world, I think the world is real. So you have to find out what is really real, what's not real, has to be understood. So therefore, yat sadbhasamanam tatu mithya swapna gajadivatu. So everything appears to be real, just as the gajadivatu. In the dream world, this elephant that you saw is not really real when you are awakened. So what is the definition of a real? Real is that which remains the same in all periods of time. So what exactly is real in the whole world? The world itself disappears when I go to dream state, and even dream world disappears when I go to deep sleep state. So what exactly is real then? That which remains the same in all three periods of time. I am a waker, I am a dreamer, I am a deep sleeper. I am is only real here because he is pervading all the three states, but not. States keep changing, but I don't change. And that alone is real. That which is changeless in all the things alone is real. And that is what is essentially. So here he is going to take more in terms of jati, vyakti, deha, dehi and all. How then there are two things inseparable. What kind of discrimination I need in order to separate it, at least intellectually, not physically. And therefore, it's an intellectual inquiry is required for realization. It's not a physical type, it is an intellectual inquiry is required. Intellectually, I have to separate veil things together. Intellectually, I can separate the ring and the gold. Veil using a ring, looking at the ring and say it's not a ring, it is gold only. That kind of. So, veil using the world, veil transacting the world, as I am transacting, as I am looking at the world, I say it's nothing but the Lord Himself in this form. At the same time, ring is still different from a bangle, bangle is different from a bracelet. So, I don't say just as a scientist I know it's electrons, protons and neutrons, everything is nothing but electrons, protons, neutrons, but still I differentiate what is food and what is garbage. I don't eat garbage just because it's electrons, protons, neutrons. I differentiate what is to be needed, where it has to be differentiated, knowing very well everything is nothing but one and the same. That discrimination has to be there in transacting, at the same time recognizing the reality. We'll go more into detail, but this will be most exhaustively treated in the camp. I recommend everyone to come there. That's where the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad we are going to take. And if you can come, that is first two talks will be on the whole. Shankara condenses that in the first two, the introduction to that Maitreyi Brahman. This is the Memorial Day weekend, Saturday and Sunday. With that we'll stop. We'll do Purnamada, Purnamida. Om Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.